Hello, I am Epahi Borua and welcome to this MOOC on oral history. Today we will explore the ideas of social memory and cultural memory. These two concepts will help extend our understanding of how the societies live with their past. In the previous lectures, we have examined memory as an individual capacity, as a collective framework, and as a public expression which is shaped through institutions and representations. Now, we will study the deeper cultural dimensions of memory. How has memory become a part of everyday social life? How it is deeply woven into the cultural symbols, practices, and patterns of meaning. When we use the term social memory, we refer to the ways in which memory is shaped by social relationships, social environments, and the shared understanding which arises from our daily interactions. This form of memory is created not through institutions alone, but through the rhythms, routines, and informal practices which connect people with one another. Social memory is embedded in the way people speak, the customs they follow, the spaces they inhabit, and the interactions that form in everyday life. It is memory produced and sustained through simple, continuous acts of living together. Alongside social memory is cultural memory. It is the memory that is held, preserved, and transmitted through cultural forms. Cultural memory lives in symbols, performances, expressive traditions, shared narratives, artistic practices, and cultural ways of knowing. It is the memory which cultures use to understand their origins, their moral world, and their sense of continuity across generations. Cultural memory extends beyond lived experience. It reaches into the deep layers of meaning that societies inherit, reinterpret, and pass down. It connects people not only to one another, but to the long arc of their cultural traditions. Together, social and cultural memory showcases that remembering is not only an act of the mind. Remembering is also a social and cultural practice which shapes our identity, behavior, belonging, and worldview. It operates through our daily life and through the symbolic structures of culture. Let us begin by examining social memory and understanding its nature, its mechanisms, and the ways in which it emerges from everyday social experience. To understand social memory, we have to begin with a very simple observation. Memory is never created in isolation. Memory emerges from the social environments in which people live and from the relationships which bind them to each other. Social memory begins in the very basic act of interaction. When people talk, listen, observe, imitate, and participate in social life, they absorb shared meanings and learn how their community remembers the past. Through interaction, individuals discover what is important to remember, how memory should be interpreted, and which versions of the past hold meaning for the group. Thus, memory is circulated through the very process of living together. Social memory is also carried through the practices which individuals participate routinely. These practices may be simple or ordinary, but they give memory a place in daily life. Shared practices create a sense of continuity. They remind individuals of the values, norms, and beliefs that the community holds across generations. Even small, Repeated actions can carry memory within them. People remember in ways that their social environments permit and encourage. Every social environment, like family, peers, workplace, neighborhood, and cultural group, creates its own framework for memory. These environments influence what stories are repeated, what events are emphasized, what meanings are attached to the past, and what is allowed to fade from collective awareness. In this sense, memory becomes a mirror through which the social norms and expectations are reflected. One of the most important functions of social memory is to create a sense of belonging. By sharing common memories, individuals can feel connected to one another. They are linked by a shared past, a shared interpretation, and a shared emotional understanding. Belonging not only emerges from agreement, but also from participation in the same cultural forms of remembering. Social memory, therefore, makes individuals feel part of a larger whole. Through everyday repetition, social memory becomes more stable. Repeated conversations, familiar routines, and recurring reminders embed memory into the flow of social life. Such repetition does not merely reinforce information, it also reinforces meaning. It strengthens the sense that certain memories matter and deserve to be carried forward. Repetition, therefore, is a key mechanism through which social memory gains continuity. Social memory is not fixed or static. Rather, it evolves as the community evolves. New experiences reshape old memories, new generations reinterpret inherited meanings, new social realities change how the past is understood. Thus, social memory carries both continuity and change. It preserves what is important while allowing reinterpretation as society transforms. Social memory is also deeply emotional. Emotions give memory its strength, depth, and resonance. They bind individuals to one another and connect them to the group's shared understanding of the past. As social memory is felt as well as known, it shapes not only what people recall, but how they experience identity and belonging. Emotions give social memory its power and persistence. Finally, social memory acts as a framework through which people interpret new events, situations, and challenges. It provides a reservoir of meanings through stories, lessons, symbols, and shared values, which help individuals make sense of the present. In this way, social memory is both a record of the past and guide for understanding the world as it unfolds. With this understanding of social memory, let's look at cultural memory and explore the deeper symbolic and expressive forms through which societies preserve meaning across generations. Cultural memory is not only about what people remember, it is also about the cultural structures that carry memory across long stretches of time. It is memory embedded in culture that becomes part of the collective imagination. Cultural memory operates through symbols. Symbols condense their meaning, emotion, and identity into recognizable cultural forms. They also provide a shared language through which people understand their past and connect to the larger cultural tradition. A symbol, therefore, carries more than information, it carries a worldview. Cultural memory endures because it is embedded in cultural forms that can outlast individual lifetimes. Culture preserves certain elements, themes, and patterns, but their reinterpretation is always possible. This adaptability allows cultural memory to remain meaningful even when societies undergo change. Continuity and transformation coexist within cultural memory. Cultural memory provides a foundation for cultural identity. It tells people not only what happened, but also what their culture values, what it believes, and what it carries forward. It strengthens the sense of belonging by offering shared symbols, shared narratives, shared emotional resonance, and shared cultural practices. Through cultural memory, individuals can feel connected to a tradition larger than themselves. It shapes how societies interpret the past. It provides the interpretive tools through which stories are told, events are understood, and meanings are constructed. It influences not only what is remembered, but how it is remembered. These cultural frameworks guide interpretation and create coherence in the ways the past is narrated. Sometimes, perhaps, the most defining feature of cultural memory is that it does not depend on direct lived experience. People inherit cultural memory through symbols, stories, traditions, and expressive forms, not through personal recollection. This means that cultural memory connects individuals to events and meanings which lie far beyond their lifetimes. It acts as a bridge between generations by linking the present to a deep cultural past. Now, let us turn to one of the most important functions of social and cultural memory, the formation of identity. Memory is not only a record of the past, it is one of the most essential foundations upon which individuals and communities build a sense of who they are. Identity is not only constructed from facts, it also grows out of meanings, emotions, stories, and cultural patterns, which is provided by memory. Hence, social and cultural memory plays a very crucial role in shaping both personal identity as well as collective identity. Identity depends on continuity. It requires a sense of connection between the past and present, a feeling that the self, the group, or the culture has a coherent and meaningful existence over time. Social memory provides continuity through daily experiences, practices, and shared social experiences. Cultural memory, on the other hand, provides continuity through deep symbolic patterns and inherited meanings. Together, they give individuals and communities a sense of rootedness and stability. Identity always concerns one fundamental question: who are we? Social memory answers this question through the shared experiences of community life. Cultural memory answers this question through the long term narratives and traditions which define the culture's worldview. By drawing on both forms of memory, people can understand their place within a community, a tradition, a cultural lineage, and a larger historical horizon. Identity thus becomes meaningful as it is grounded in remembered experience. Belonging is not only a social feeling, it is also a memory based feeling. People feel connected to a group because they share memories like shared stories, shared symbols, or shared meanings. These shared memories create emotional bonds, group cohesion, a sense of solidarity, and recognition of common values. Belonging is therefore strengthened each time memory is shared, repeated, or expressed. Identity becomes durable through repetition, that is, the continuous reaffirming of shared memories in social and cultural life. Every repetition strengthens the narrative, reinforces meaning, and deepens emotional connection. Without repetition, identity loses cohesion, while with repetition, memory can remain alive and active in the present. Identity is not fixed, it evolves as the societies evolve. Social and cultural memory gives the material through which individuals and communities can reinterpret and reshape their sense of self. When societies change, they adapt their memories to newer contexts. While certain meanings may be emphasized, others may be reinterpreted or softened. This capacity for adaptation allows identity to remain meaningful across generations. One of the deepest functions of memory is that it connects individuals to something beyond themselves. It connects the individual to a community, to a tradition, and to a shared cultural world. Through social and cultural memory, identity can become more than personal. It can become collective, inherited, and shared. Individuals, therefore, come to see themselves as part of a story that began before them and will continue after them. Identity is therefore rooted in memory. While social memory gives it everyday grounding, cultural memory gives it depth, symbolism, and continuity. Together, both of them can shape how individuals and communities understand themselves, related to one another, and position themselves within the larger flow of history. Memory may appear stable, however, it is actually dynamic in nature. It changes as societies change, adapts as cultural needs to evolve, and is reinterpreted as new generations encounter the past from new perspectives. Let's understand how social and cultural memory shift over time and why this constant movement is essential to the way communities remain connected to their histories. Social and cultural memory is always shaped by the context in which people live. When social realities shift because of technological changes, new social norms, or altered worldview, the meanings which are attached to older memories also change. Communities reinterpret symbols, stories, practices, and inherited narratives to align them with their contemporary concerns. Thus, memory is continually adjusted to speak to present realities. An important dynamic of memory is selective emphasis. Communities often highlight certain memories which feels relevant or meaningful, while allowing others to fade. This is not accidental. To remain coherent, memory has to prioritize what strengthens its identity and downplay what does not align to its collective meaning. Forgetting is therefore not the absence of memory, rather, it is part of the process through which memory is organized. Generations also play a crucial role in reshaping memory. Every generation inherits cultural and social memory but interprets them differently. The younger group may question the established meanings, reinterpret traditional symbols, shift emotional emphasis, or create new understandings based on contemporary experience. This generational reinterpretation keeps memory responsive to the present while still connected to the past. As memories change within a community, be it political, cultural, or social, the collective memory of a community also shifts accordingly. When new values become central, the older memories are reassessed and reorganized. What once may have seemed central may now become peripheral, and what previously was overlooked may now gain new prominence. Thus, memory changes because society's sense of meaning changes. Cultural memory, in particular, is carried through symbols, rituals, and expressive traditions which can be reinterpreted over time. These cultural forms provide the flexibility through which memory can be adapted without losing its continuity. Communities can retain the older symbols while also ingraining within them new meanings. This is how cultural memory remains enduring yet open to reinterpretation. A central dynamic of memory is the balance between stability, which provides memory with identity, and change, which ensures relevance of memory. If memory never changed, it would lose connection with contemporary realities. However, if it changed too much, it would lose continuity with the past. Memory only remains powerful when it maintains this delicate balance. Social and cultural memory are therefore not archives of fixed meaning. They are dynamic processes which continuously adjust, reinterpret, and renew to reflect the changing social conditions and cultural realities. This dynamic nature allows memory to remain both rooted and responsive and preserve continuity while making space for transformation. After understanding the dynamic quality of memory, we should explore how memory, society, and history interact with each other and complement, challenge, and enrich each other. The three domains of memory, society, and history are distinct, yet they constantly influence and shape each other. Memory is lived in experience. Society provides the environment in which memory circulates, and history gives the formal, analytical framework to interpret the past. The interaction between these three is essential to understand how communities can make sense of their origin, identities, and collective life. History does not begin with documents alone. Social and cultural memory supply the raw materials from which historical inquiry emerges. They preserve the lived, emotional, and symbolic dimensions of the past, which historians later investigate, question, and contextualize. Memory, therefore, is the starting point of historical consciousness. Historical interpretation does not occur outside society. Every historian has to work within a social environment which influences what questions are asked, what issues are important, and what perspectives should come to the forefront. History is analytical, but its questions arise from the concerns of society. Cultural memory, which is preserved in symbols and expressive traditions, gives the interpretive framework through which societies can understand their historical narrative. Historical questions the assumptions, examines the evidence, reveals the silences, and contextualizes the events. This may sometimes place history in tension with memory, especially when memory simplifies or idealizes the past. However, history also complements memory by clarifying events, distinguishing layers of meaning, and offering a broad significance or interpretation. Memory also strengthens social cohesion by affirming shared identity and belonging. Together, they help societies preserve continuity, make sense of change, and maintain a balanced relationship with their past. Social forces help in shaping the memories, which gain recognition and also which fade in obscurity. Thus, the boundary between memory and history is shaped by society's shifting values. While memory influences history, history can also reshape memory. History, therefore, becomes part of the memory because it alters how the communities view themselves and their past. It can be said that memory, society, and history interact continuously. There is no final or fixed relationship among them. It is a dynamic cycle where memory influences society, society shapes historical inquiry, history reshapes memory, and memory once again influences society. This cycle keeps the past active and in the present. With this understanding, we examine the role of memory in social cohesion and cultural continuity. Memory binds people together and gives society a shared sense of belonging. Without memory, social life may lose its coherence. Shared memory gives us common points of reference. It can therefore be said that memory gives the group its collective we. Communities are not only held together by structures and institutions, they are also held together by shared emotional connections. Every society undergoes change. The societal values shift, institutions shift. Every society undergoes change. In the midst of all this change, memory provides stability. It provides a sense of continuity, a link to earlier generations, and a foundation upon which new meanings can be built. This stability allows communities to navigate through transformation without losing their sense of identity. Cultural continuity is also sustained through memory. Traditions endure because they are remembered through various ways like symbols, expressive practices, cultural narratives, and shared interpretation. Traditions live because memory carries them forward. For social cohesion to endure, values have to be transmitted from one generation to the next. Through social memory, the younger generations can learn the practices and expectations of the community. Communities need a sense of orientation. They need to have a shared understanding of where they come from, where they stand, and how they should move forward. Memory provides the community with this orientation. It provides a narrative framework that helps the societies interpret challenges, respond to change, and maintain coherence. Memory also contributes to resilience. This collective strength helps them adapt to difficulties, respond to new challenges, and maintain cohesion in uncertain times. Memory gives communities a sense of continuity even when they are facing disruption. Cultural continuity depends on seeing the present as a part of larger cultural story. It situates the present experiences within a deeper cultural tradition, a long-term narrative, and a broader symbolic world. As we conclude this lecture, let us look back on the ideas that we have explored. These ideas helped us understand how memory lives within societies, how it shaped identity, and how it connected the individual and communities to a deeper cultural world. We began the lecture by recognizing that memory is more than personal capacity. It is a social and cultural process which is woven into interaction, embedded into social shared practices, and expressed through symbols, narratives, and traditions. In understanding social memory, we explored how everyday interactions, repeated practices, shared understanding created framework through which communities interpreted the past and constructed a belonging to the present. We then moved to cultural memory, which then went beyond daily life with the deeper symbolic structures of culture. It went with the stories, representational forms, ritual patterns, and expressive traditions which carry memory across long periods of time. We also explored how memory, society, and history intersect. Memory provides meaning, society provides context, and history provides interpretation. Together, they form a living relationship through which communities understand and continuously reshape their relationship with the past. We saw that memory is dynamic and continuously adapts as societies evolve and reinterpret their tradition. We also recognize that memory plays a very crucial role in sustaining social cohesion and cultural continuity. In all these ways, memory emerges not simply as something we have, but as something we live. It is a shared cultural force which shapes identity, guides meaning, and maintains a sense of collective continuity over time. As this lecture comes to an end, it becomes clear that memory, be it individual, collective, public, social, or cultural, is necessary to understand how societies relate to their histories. It shows that the past is never fully gone. It continues to shape everyday life, inform collective identity, and influence how communities imagine their future. Thank you.